now we have an international oil company, okay, and then in that company we will have another, it can be a company or it can be a wing in a company, okay, again. So because the trading can be another group company of a company, or it can just be a wing in a company, okay. And within this company again they can have different operations in different countries, like one company in Netherlands, one company in Germany, one company in uh, some Finland or Sweden or some other country, or if it is US you can consider different locations of different states in US, okay. Now obviously when we have a company, and if the country has a taxation, there will be some taxation calculations with respect to that, because whenever you buy, whenever you sell, there will be relevant taxation that will be applied on it, okay. And now when we get the byproducts, like what are the byproducts that we get out of the refinery, we have to market them, right? So we'll have to market it to different industrial customers, okay, bulk customers, commercial bulk customers, okay. So there will be some sales team or supply team who will be dealing with that, okay, and then a finance team, then a refinery production team, okay. So we have not covered all the departments, okay. If you just look at this picture, we are talking about the supply and distribution part, and what are all the different departments that will deal with the supply department, supply and distribution team, okay. That is why you don't see HR and all that, quality management and all that stuff here. So tax is one of the most important. So as we are doing supply and distribution, that's nothing but sales are also included here. We need to have the finance. So because we are selling it from the refinery production team will also get included, because they have to tell us what is the product availability, and based on that only these people will be selling it, right? Okay. So the other kind of products, so lubes, gas, marine, aviation, okay, and accordingly they'll have some supply chain lube, supply chain gas team, supply chain fuels team, okay. So it's more of the kind of organization structure that is available in a company that will make this diagram. I mean, this is not a standard diagram, this is only for an example. But when you get into a company, when you do some implementation plan, you'll have to understand what is their organizational structure, how the company is set up, okay. So in that way you'll have to design this flow diagram, or we can call it as an organizational diagram. This is only for your reference, okay, but you'll have to understand whenever you go for an implementation, you need to understand what are the different sales teams, what are the different, whether they have a trading team, whether they have a finance team, whether they have a tax team. And even in again, if it is an end-to-end company, so some people will be dealing with crude, some people will be dealing with refined, some people will be dealing with gas. Like that, you'll have to understand their structure and then design this accordingly, okay. So supply chain management is applicable within an individual departments for specific production lines. So there can be one supply team for LPG, another for lubes, another for jet fuel, asphalt, coke. Or it can be, for example, if there are some people who are buying crude, so there can be one team the supply team who will be handling that, and there will be some supply and sales team who will be handling the sales of the byproducts, some semi-finished products, like that, okay. So again, it is not that only based on the products. So it is not always the structure. Again, the structure, please don't come to a conclusion that it is only the structure or the supply chain management is only based on the products, okay. Because in some companies you will find that all these products are handled by one team, but one team will handle industrial customer. All these products are handled by another team who will deal with only wholesale customers. All these products will be handled by one team who will deal with the retail customers, okay. And there can be another team who will deal with the marine fuels, because these byproducts we see here, there are different byproducts, like industrial fuel is there, there is some marine fuel also is one of the byproduct, heavy gas oil, there are base oil which is another product, lubes which are another byproduct. So it all depends upon what kind of products or what kind of org structure they have. So what I am trying to explain you here is what are the different kind of org structures in an oil and gas company. So the org structures can be based on products, or the org structures can be based on the kind of customers you are dealing with. Okay, so that's what, as I have explained here, the scope of supply chain management within this department varies according to the specific business requirements. It can be based on product, or it can be based on the way of dealing the customers. And even when you deal with the customers, for example, you have some export customers, you have some local customers. So there might be two teams who will be dealing, one team dealing with local, one team dealing with export. It all depends upon how the org structure is. Clear till now, or any questions?
Right, from systems point of view, the org, what are the significance of like what you just explained?
Significance, okay. So let me,
or whatever the structure is, depending on the organization, from systems point of view, it remains the same, or it has an impact on system?
It has an impact, right? So obviously when you talk about these products, okay, just a minute. So when you talk about these products, right, so as I told you, for example, let us consider we have a team, supply team, okay, and we have a sales team, okay, again we have a finance team, okay. So obviously when you have these products from your refinery, so when you sell it to customers, who will do the shipment planning? So somebody should do the shipment planning, right? That means some customers might take through rail car, some customers might take through truck, some customers might take through pipeline, some customers might take through shipping. So this supply team, what they do, they try to do this planning. They will get the requirement from the customer, okay, and they will check the availability of the rail car or truck or pipeline or ship. They will confirm to the customer saying that the relevant mode of transport is available. Then they create a shipment. This shipment is nothing but a nomination in IS oil, we call it as. Okay.
Okay.
And then, okay, let me, but actually this I thought of doing it little later, but I think your question is making me discuss about this now. Okay. So when we talk about sales, so obviously we will have contracts. So it can be a term contract or it can be a spot contract, correct? Depending upon the availability of the product. So once you have a term contract means it can be an yearly contract, or it can be a 3-year contract, or it can be a 5-year contract. It all depends upon how the organization deals with the customers. Okay. So once you have a contract, so there will be a requirement from your customer. Okay. The customer will say that, okay, I need 1 lakh or 5 lakh barrels this month. Okay. So he will notify the supply team, and he might notify the sales team. Okay. So how does the sales confirm that he will give 5 lakh barrels? Until unless he interacts with the refining operations team, he will not be able to get the product availability. Correct? So customer will put a requirement to either sales or supply, depending upon the org structure they have in a company. These people will again check with the refinery operations team. These people will confirm the availability to the sales or supply, and this supply team will ask the customer on which date they want to lift the product. And again, there can be multiple options. This customer might take the product via rail car or truck or pipeline or ship. So depending upon that, there will be a to and fro mails or calls or kind of coordination that might be between sales and customer or supply and customer for deciding upon the quantity, for deciding upon the date range that they want to pick up the product, and depending upon the vessel that they are selling. So there can be again another scenario here. So whether they will take through, whether the customer will come and pick the product, or whether we have to, we means the company who is selling the product will have to deliver it to the customer. Depending upon that, the pricing will differ. Okay. Then once the nomination is created, this terminal team will load the product. Okay. Now, if it is a customer pickup scenario, then we only load, because our responsibility ends at our doorstep after we load the ship, or we load the pipeline, or we load the truck, because he will come with his rail car or truck or pipeline or ship. Okay. Or else, if we, that means if the company who is selling is taking the responsibility, then we will do the load and discharge also. Okay. Now after we do this, invoicing. Okay. Now the reason why I am telling all this is, now this product, again, you can define your org elements. What are the different org elements in the sales organization? Okay. Distribution channel.
Division.
Okay. Division. Okay. Sales office. Sales group. Okay. Now when you do the setup in SAP, obviously if you are talking about products, you will create your sales organizations or LPG sales team, okay, or lubes sales team, or jet fuel sales team. Okay. If you are talking about the department wise, if you're talking about the industrial sales, so you will create your sales org on the basis of industrial, not on the material. Getting my point?
Yeah, depending on nature of customer.
Depending on nature of our customers. Okay. Similarly, distribution channel. Okay, distribution channel means it is way of reaching the customers. So here you can reach your customers, we can call it as a local or export. Okay. Or again, it all depends upon how you want to take it, right? It is about reaching the customers. So, or you can say that it is, you can use different modes of transport here. Or you can, for example, if it is retail, if you consider retail sector, okay, it can be omni-channel, or it can be your own website, or it can be your vendor's website or a customer's website. Like for example, if you are a vendor, you can sell it through Snapdeal, you can sell it through an Amazon, you can sell it through a different way, or you can have your own website. Okay. Division, again here, so if for example the division, you can divide it. So LPG, gas products, you can consider gas as your division. Okay. For example, you are selling only lubes, you can have lubes as your division. You are selling only jet relevant, marine relevant fuels, you will have marine as your division. Okay. Similarly, as I talked about sales office, sales office means where generally it is the area or the location where you have the sales office. So for example, if you want to have a separate sales office for LPG, you can create it. Or else you can have only one sales office but a different sales group. So you can have a group again, LPG local, you can have one sales group who will be dealing it. You can have LPG export who will be dealing with another group. So this org structure, what you decide or what you understand, how you understand, will enable you to set up your sales org, will enable you to develop your set up your org elements, and even authorization wise also. So now we are talking about the different teams, right? Now when you talk about authorization, authorization means obviously the person who is doing the sales of LPG should not be able to check the sales of loops, because it is against the organizational, we call it as structure or authority or audit, we can say. They should not be given access to loops, and the people who are working in loops should not be able to access LPG or jet fuel. So these elements what you have, right, these elements are also responsible for controlling. So who should see what? Okay. Similarly, the same setup will also apply for supply. Okay. So in the supply, this supply is more onto the TSW, where these people will get involved a lot. Terminal, so we call it as ticketing in the TSW. So that terminal team will do the ticketing. When they do the loading, how much is the quantity? Okay, how much is the other unit of measure? For example, you calculate the crude in barrels. Okay, so the different unit of measures, what is L, what is liters at 15 degrees, what is my meter cube quantity, what is my metric ton quantity, what is my ton quantity. Okay, so these are all unit of measures, we enter it in the ticket. Similarly, when you load, this is you capture these quantities when you load it, when you discharge it also. Similarly, while discharging also you will do. And this invoicing, this is always based on the standard units of measures or the base unit of measure of the material. So on what basis, whether you are paying, the customer is paying us on the basis of barrel quantity or BV6, which is barrels at 60 degrees Fahrenheit, or is he paying at L15 quantity, or is he paying us on the basis of mass unit of measure. So this all depends upon the again how you set it up in the system. Okay.